From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello, and welcome to the first ever broadcast of Carolina Week, the student-produced newscast devoted to coverage of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and the surrounding area. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Jacqueline McClary. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to be bringing you news about campus events and issues. Well, snow and ice are finally starting to melt, and life in Chapel Hill is slowly returning to normal. UNC students and professors are returning to classes after last week's record snowfall gave them a 3-day vacation. Carolina Week's Lee Skinner shows us how some students spent this unexpected break.
A rare treat dropped into Chapel Hill Monday night. More than 20 inches of snow left UNC students with plenty of free time to fill. Snowball fights and snowmen replaced papers and exams. For Lindsay Myers, the deeper snow just meant more fun.
You can play in this. It's not like, oh, I'm stepping in an inch of snow. You can dive in, get everything soaked. It's great.
Chapel Hill has never seen this much snow at one time. This historic snowfall made life seem extra special for just a little while. Amanda Fox is counting her blessings.
This has been like the biggest snow in 100 years or something like that, so I think we're pretty lucky to have seen it.
Everybody had a different plan. Some people, like Brooke Eidenmiller, spent the day.
Played in the snow, and I think we're going to go back and watch some movies and just stay warm, maybe drink some hot chocolate.
Elizabeth Joyce just couldn't miss the beauty of this winter wonderland.
It's a sight you don't typically see, so it's kind of like going to an art gallery outside.
Now, it takes a lot of snow to get the university to cancel classes. The last time the university shut its doors for snow was over 4 years ago. To give you an idea of just how much snow is out here, I've come out to behind Steel Building on North Campus. And as you can see, the snow out here is coming out to just around my knees. Now that's a lot of snow. Reporting from Steel Building on North Campus, Lee Skinner, Carolina Week.
Many professors are rescheduling tests and projects because of the lost days, and students will not have to make up for the classes they missed last week. Coughing, fever, a stuffy nose, and aching muscles, you're showing all the signs of the flu, so you head over to the local pharmacy. There are so many medicines on the shelves. Knowing which medicine to take will help you make it through flu season. Doctors say the right way to treat the flu is to treat the symptoms. We can take cough medicine for a nasty cough, ibuprofen is good for fever and body aches, and a decongestant for the stuffy nose. Student health Dr. Mario Seoka tells why combination medicines aren't the answer to fighting the flu.
People starting to combine Theraflu with NyQuil with some other combination medicine. They're starting to use the same sort. One medicine is in one, but it's also in the other one, and they're not realizing that, and you can get some side effects from that.
If you think you have the flu, please call your doctor's office. Doctors say the earlier you can make an appointment to see them, the better chance you have of making a quick recovery.
The year 2000 is already a month old, and some of you are still sticking to your New Year's resolutions. Then there's the rest of us. Despite the debate about whether we're in a new millennium or not, for many, January still means a fresh new start. Students have made resolutions to eat healthier and to drink those 8 glasses of water each day. It's a time to start reading the classics and to put on the running shoes and go for a jog, even when Mother Nature is encouraging everyone to stay in and keep warm. But old habits die hard. Cigarettes are still around, and it's tempting to give in to the sugar cravings that plague us too. And what better way to relax than with a nice cold beer? It's okay to enjoy some of these temptations, but don't let the new year pass you without keeping at least one resolution. New Year's 2000, a celebration heard loudly around the world. No matter where or how you celebrated, chances are you caught at least some Millennium Fever. And UNC students were certainly no exception to the night of intense revelry.
World for New Year's Eve and went to all 4 of the parks in 4 days, and it was awesome. I ended up staying in MGM for the actual New Year's Eve and was in the back lot for New York City, so it was kind of like I was in New York.
For this past New Year's, I went to New York to watch the ball drop, and it was a blast. And I guess the only thing that made this different from any other New Year's is this is the first time I've ever been to New York and was at Times Square to watch the ball drop.
But many insist we celebrated the new millennium a year early. If that's the case, we could be in store for an even bigger party next year.
The Chancellor's desk at UNC remains vacant. The university is still searching for a new leader to fill the shoes of the late Chancellor Hooker. Carolina Week's Heather Higgins has more on what issues this new leader will have to deal with.
Chancellor Michael Hooker passed away 7 months ago, and UNC is still operating without a permanent leader. Rumors are circulating about who this new leader might be, but the bigger question is, what issues will the new chancellor be forced to deal with? UNC student body president Nick Heinke feels money for the university will be the chancellor's main concern.
Issue of the diminishing state support for the university and finding creative ways to finance the university, whether, some say we should look to tuition, some say we should look to a bond referenda to be voted on by the state, more fundraising dollars.
Students feel these other issues range from student diversity to better tickets for Carolina basketball fans. Rebecca Morphus, a first-year master's student in journalism, feels that preserving the competitiveness of the university is a major issue.
The issue of maintaining a competitive university and this society, a competitive state-funded university, I think is the biggest challenge facing the chancellor.
Interim Chancellor William McCoy presides as the head of the university until the chancellor position is filled. McCoy knows firsthand what the new chancellor must face.
The campus facilities, faculty salaries, and enrollment planning would be 3 of the top priorities right now, with the implications that they all have for the continued progress of the school.
McCoy discussed the new issues the chancellor will be faced with, but he didn't discuss who the next person is to walk through this door.
This silence can be heard throughout the chancellor search process. Recent media leaks revealed the names of several candidates, but to date, there is no indication of a favorite. In Chapel Hill, this is Heather Higgins, Carolina Week.
There are 14 people who preside on the Chancellor's Search Committee and several levels to the search. Each candidate must meet all requirements of the committee before taking the position as Chancellor.
And one of Franklin Street's most popular eateries is now open after being closed for half the year. Following 7 months of renovations, Spanky's reopened Monday afternoon for business. Spanky's customers can now enjoy a new restaurant in an old location. Some of the changes customers will notice include a new tile floor, a modified menu, brighter lighting, ceiling fans, and new television sets. Stephanie Imes likes the new $30,000 cherry wood bar the best.
I think it's really nice. I like the way that they lowered the bar. I think it really opens up the restaurant, makes it very homey and very comfortable.
The new Spanky's has an upstairs banquet room, which will be open next week. How about that bar? $30,000 for a bar?
It's a lot of money. You could do a lot of other things with $30,000.
Man, I tell you. Up next, danger on campus crosswalks.
UNC police work to keep pedestrians safe.
This crosswalk on Manning Drive
Hey, there are a lot of ways we can
November
help our
4th.
community. Spending our money in Orange County, whether it's filling up the car or shopping at local businesses, helps maintain our roads, improves our children, and creates jobs. Spending your money locally helps us all in a big way. So remember, shop Orange first.
Averaging 18%. Balance the budget. Increasing clouds for...
UNC TV. Your remote stops here.
UNC-Chapel Hill, like a university in most any college town, has the problem of pedestrian safety. As reporter Jennifer Niesel tells us, the combination of thousands of students and cars can be deadly.
This crosswalk on Manning Drive proved fatal November 4th when a car struck a UNC dental student on foot. The accident occurred when the driver failed to yield at an intersection in front of the Hargrove Thurston Bowles building. Pedestrians and drivers in Chapel Hill don't always mix. Oftentimes, pedestrians will walk out in front of cars on busy streets, and drivers sometimes fail to yield. UNC Police Major Jeff McCracken says his department has an ongoing campaign to inform pedestrians of safety.
A lot of people don't realize that a person in a car, by statute, is obligated to yield to a pedestrian who's in a crosswalk. On the other hand, pedestrians need to be aware that cars have no obligation to yield to them if they're not crossing in a crosswalk. And we have a combination of those two problems on this campus.
Despite these problems, there have only been 2 deaths involving drivers and non-drivers, yet less serious accidents occur every couple of months. The most dangerous time for pedestrians falls during class changes, when swarms of students cross the street. While some pedestrians dodge cars, others take more precautionary methods and use the crosswalk. Still, drivers are supposed to yield. UNC senior Allison Weaver says she feels confident that drivers will stop.
I feel like the drivers have the expectation that it is a college campus and that they generally look to the safety of the pedestrians and also usually walk with a big group of people, and so I feel safe in numbers.
UNC Police gives this advice. To the driver, slow down when on campus, and to the pedestrian, stick to the crosswalks. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Niesel, Carolina Week.
In response to the latest accidents, UNC police officers plan to continue their policy of giving warnings to jaywalkers and reckless drivers. You may have noticed something different with a fraternity house on campus. As students walk to class, it's hard not to notice the big wooden boards covering the doors and windows of the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity house. Despite rumors, Director of Greek Affairs Ron Bender says the house at the corner of Columbia and Raleigh has been boarded up for remodeling purposes. After the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity house burned down over 3 years ago, sprinkler systems are now required in every fraternity and sorority house by the fall of 2001. Bender says campus fraternities are also taking this opportunity to clean the inside of the houses, such as removing asbestos. While the Deke House is an eyesore for visitors to Chapel Hill's Carolina Inn, the house will remain boarded until next fall when construction is through.
You know, things that are good for you don't always seem that way at the time, but researchers say there are new reasons why you should be sure to visit your dentist. Regular dental checkups let us know how well or how poorly we're caring for our teeth. We all hope the dentist gives us regular dental checkups. We all hope the dentist gives us a good report. But if our mouths are unhealthy, researchers say this can increase our risk for heart disease and stroke. To test samples from many people's mouths, a special robot is used. After analyzing results from hundreds of samples, researchers say the link became clear between oral health and several life-threatening conditions.
Most people have at least some minor form of gingivitis, which is a minor inflammation of the gums. What becomes problematic is when the gums become chronically inflamed with a bacterial infection.
currently investigating other problems that are associated with an unhealthy mouth. His advice to everyone, see a dentist at least twice a year. Geologists from UNC-Chapel Hill are still talking about the fossil discovery of their lives. They dug it up this summer in a Durham brickyard. Now, after months of research, their findings reveal a species older than the dinosaurs. Reporter Kimberly Stewart has the story.
You wouldn't think that a scene such as this was ever possible in North Carolina, but recent fossil finds in the Durham area prove otherwise. UNC geology professor Dr. Joseph Carter is working on the restructuring of a species known as a Rawasuchian.
Opening up these drawers is like opening up a past of 350 million years ago. This fossil, which once made up the foot of a Rawasuchian, is one of the many treasures that UNC paleontologists found.
Carter has other students and paleontologists working with him. UNC freshman Emily Weber is part of the team working on the Rawasuchian. Right now, she's making a cast of the scapula.
It was just sitting there scraping with a knife for several hours, getting the mold clean.
Carter says the effort to rebuild this rare animal is time well spent. He says the species is twice as old as the infamous Tyrannosaurus rex, and recreating it is a little short of a miracle.
For this quality of fossil, the rarity of this thing, to not pursue it would be wrong. It's something that comes along once in a lifetime, and unless you seize the opportunity to work on it, then you've lost it.
For months, Carter and his team have made molds, pieced them together, and have researched the entire species thoroughly. The team has made sure there are no missing holes in this discovery.
It turned out to be such a spectacular find that it was a lot of fun to talk about it and to share this experience with other people.
Finishing the project may take 9 more months, yet Carter doesn't plan to blow off small details. With a discovery such as this, concentration and dedication are the keys to piecing it all back together. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kimberly Stewart, Carolina Week.
After the geologists complete their research, the fossil will be displayed at the North Carolina State Museum in Raleigh.
All the snow and ice dumped on Chapel Hill last week is finally melting, but is it over yet?
I don't know. When we return, our meteorologist Kimberly Stewart will tell us what we have in store for the next week.
Garden. Through public service, research, conservation, and education. The garden brings North Carolina's rich natural heritage to you. It's a beautiful way to learn.
I need a break.
Yeah, well, what I need is a little peace and quiet when I come home. I've been working hard all day.
You have got to do something about that son of yours. I can't stand it anymore.
Well, maybe if you were a better mother, he wouldn't be such a problem.
Better mother? When do you ever spend time with him?
Family Counseling Service of Durham. We can help. Call 286-3757.
Hey, Mark, where are you going with your piggy bank? I'm going to give my allowance to the Interfaith Council. Why? Mom says they help people, and they need our help, too.
The Interfaith Council helps adults and children through job training, family support, and education. They can't survive without community support. Every donation counts.
I want to help, too.
Call the Interfaith Council at 929-6380.
You can't always see problems in the triangle, but you know they're there. Be part of the solution. Join Leadership Triangle. For information, call 919-549-9840.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm about ready for the weather to warm up.
Me too, but I don't know if we're going to be so lucky. Kimberly, what do you think?
I don't know. You might want to take a last look at the grocery store, but I know I need to get stocked up from last week when we had so much snow. But hopefully we have a weather that will be kind to everybody. We have our weather question of the week. On average, how much wet snow is equivalent to 1 inch of liquid water? At the end of our forecast today, we will tell you the answer. And also, we have a picture of the week, which, as you see behind me, is full of snow. Snow is very likely to, on Sunday, actually, we started with freezing rain. We had a high of 32 degrees and a low of 30. And on Monday, our forecast looked a little bit better with rising temperatures, but only of 34 degrees. We had a low of 23, and Tuesday wasn't much better, although we're trying to get this stuff to melt. High of 40 and a low of 19. Wednesday, we're still warming up with sunny skies of high of 42 and a low of 20. We had some snow, as you see behind me. The snow was bad and dumped about 20 inches of snow on us. As you see here, people in Chapel Hill, students, we just went crazy over here, making snowmen, throwing snowballs, just doing all kinds of stuff except studying, which we didn't have classes, so there was basically nothing else to do. Crawling in the snow, digging. Looks like she's digging for something, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. We have a city to compare with. Our foreign city is Lagos, Nigeria. The reason we picked this city is because in Ackland Art Museum, we have sculptures made by a lady, and they are experiencing right now 89-degree weather. Our forecast for this weekend, we have a high of 49 degrees and a low of 28. On Saturday, we expect same conditions, a high of 48 and a low of 28. And Sunday, hopefully we're going to get warmer with that 51 degrees, but we're still not getting out of freezing range of 29 degrees. Monday, we're going to have our highest temperatures at 53 degrees, and again, 31 degrees Fahrenheit. So, Jacqueline, I don't know if all this winter is through. We have more predictions that more wintry weather is coming up.
Well, okay. It's fun while it lasts.
We have our Groundhog Day. He did not see his shadow, so that means that we have 6 more weeks of wintry weather, as if we need any more of that. But, what can I say? Mr. Groundhog is the predictor. Our answer to the question was C, 10 inches. When you see wet snow, people think about floods, but 10 inches of snow only really equals about 1 inch of water. So that's our forecast, and I don't know, hopefully all this stuff will melt, but just stay tuned because we could see other stuff.
All right, great. Thanks, Kimberly. Although it's the dead of winter, the college baseball season is already here.
And coming up next in sports, we'll tell you what to expect from Carolina Boys of Summer.
Hey, baby!
I know, you did fine.
Yeah, you did good.
Throughout my career as a coach, I've lived by the simple axiom that behind every individual success story is a team. The success of Durham Public Schools does not depend on one of us, but all of us. Through community involvement and support, we can take a giant step in helping our children achieve their hopes and dreams. You're going to walk with me, and I'm going to help you to be that great soccer player.
Every 18 minutes, another name is added to the list of persons waiting for life-saving organs. In North Carolina, your decision to donate will not be carried out unless your legal next of kin gives consent at the time of your death, even if you've indicated it on your driver's license with a red heart. Share your life, share your decision, so that your wishes may be carried out for you, and someone else's wish can come true. Regardless of our age, gender, race, or sexual orientation, AIDS affects everyone. Patsy's son died of AIDS, but she is determined to combat this disease. Karen has HIV but will be at her son's graduation. Susan's teenage daughter has AIDS and big plans for college. For these women, Mother's Day will never be the same, but they believe there's hope. Join them. Get involved. Call 919-834-2437.
What would you do if your mother asked you? So class, tell me, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, Molly?
I want to be a supermodel when I grow up.
How about you, Josh?
I want to be a cowboy when I grow up.
Well, doesn't anybody want to be a designated driver when they grow up?
A what? Designated. I don't know what that is.
Driver?
You heard of that?
Well, we've heard a lot about the men and women's basketball team
And
here.
we've got the we've got the track team, the wrestling team, and also the baseball team going on the spring season. Give us an idea of the big picture, what's going on with the Carolina sports.
Well, Fred, as you said, there's winter sports going on, spring sports about to start as well, but as we know around Carolina, that most fans care most about is Carolina basketball. And the question is, can 2 wins turn around an entire season? That's the question UNC basketball fans are asking after the Tar Heels topped Maryland and Georgia Tech last week. Now, normally, 2 straight wins are no big deal in Chapel Hill, but in a season that has seen Carolina start 12-8 and drop out of the top 25 for the first time in a decade, fans and the team are looking for any kind of momentum. For Jason Capel says that the 4-game losing streak the team endured last month, oddly enough, may have been what the Tar Heels needed.
I think after the 4-game skid, it's a shame it had to come to that, but I think everybody, kind of just rededicated themselves. I think, it just opened their eyes and it was like, what do I have to do to help this team win?
Nikki Teasley is back in action for Sylvia Hatchell's women's basketball squad. Teasley has not played since January 5th for what Hatchell called personal reasons. Teasley led a second-half Carolina comeback against Maryland on Sunday, scoring 11 points in 31 minutes. With her team going just 1-6 without her in the lineup, Teasley says it's good to be back on the court.
I ran the court a few times and we got the lead back. It was kind of like I got that feeling that I used to get when I played before, and it's fun to be back now. I'm really happy and excited.
Nikki brings a little excitement with the plays that she makes and the hustle plays that she makes, and it's something that was desperately needed because I think we were out there just going through the motions a lot of the times, and with Nikki back, I think our confidence is going to go up a lot more.
Now, the indoor track season is underway, but the problem for the Tar Heel track team is that they have to practice outdoors. As you can see, the adverse weather we've had lately is making practice difficult, but the indoor season has had its successes, with several school records being set. The Tar Heels will travel to Fairfax, Virginia for the George Mason Patriot Games meet this weekend. Bill Guthridge's boys aren't the only UNC team with an upcoming date with Duke. The Carolina wrestling team will grapple with the Blue Devils this Tuesday at Carmichael Auditorium. While NC State is considered to be the Tar Heels' biggest wrestling rival, team members say they always get up for the Blue Devils. Tuesday, this match starts at 7 o'clock. The Carolina baseball team is back at work after its impressive showing in the ACC Disney Baseball Blast in Miami. The Tar Heels beat 3 ranked opponents by a combined score of 26-8, including wins over top 10 teams Rice and Miami. Brian Strong has more on this year's UNC baseball team.
Tar Heel baseball hits the field for the 2000 season with 7 returning starters from 1999. Lightning-fast center fielder Tyrell Godwin, starting pitcher Ryan Snare, and closing pitcher Derek DePriest are all preseason All-Americans. But there's something besides talent that may get Coach Mike Fox's team to the College World Series in Omaha in May.
I just think the camaraderie, just the way the team gets along.
Best it's ever been since I've been here.
And the new unity comes from veteran attitude.
Everybody wants to work hard out here, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that the younger guys look up to the older guys, and they see the older guys working hard, so then, they, in turn, want to work hard themselves.
Godwin, for instance, hit over 300 last year and still trained with Team USA this summer to improve his game.
The USA team, helped me overall as a player. I improved a lot defensively there, playing every day, and traveling like kind of getting exposure, kind of helped me out.
And what did one of the pitchers work on in the offseason?
I've ran more, lifted harder, I've worked on control, trying to pick up the fourth pitch.
Ryan Snare's #1 pitch is the curveball that he uses, placing the forefinger over the middle finger. On the other hand, Derek DePriest has 2 favorite pitches, one of them being the split-fingered, underhanded fastball that he throws about 85 miles an hour, and a slider that he uses that tails away from right-handed hitters. And the All-Americans have support.
Guys like Clay Hooper coming back for his 2nd year in a row. He redshirted 2 years ago. Ryan Erie and Dan Mullen came off great summers. So did Clay.
So with all this talent, the team has one thing in mind.
Right now, I have one goal, and that's to go to Omaha. So.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Strong, Carolina Weekly.
And the Tar Heels will be back in action with their home opener Wednesday, February 9th against Elon.